Call to order the special meeting of the Lamberton City Council electronic phone for June 23rd, 2021 at 4:30 p.m. Call to order and adopt the agenda. Ceremonial duties.
Need a motion for, I'll make a motion to adopt the agendas.
Second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent to agenda and general business. Petition request and comments. General obligation refund bond series 2021A. Ordinance to.
Hang on with that one, Dave. We'll go with we'll let Jessica explain the general obligation refunding, what we're doing here.
Council. I'm usually saying good evening at this point, but good afternoon. Thanks for getting together today to go over the refunding results. So we held a sale this morning on the city's outstanding 2013, who's got this water? The 2013 B bond. And it was a slower day today. There were some other Minnesota issues today and yesterday that priced a little bit higher than what we had anticipated. You'll recall that when you looked at this back in May, we were estimating savings around 202,000. What we came away with today was $188,048 in total. So you have a sales summary that's before you that looks like this, and Nick is good enough to print out all of the information. There's a number of pages there in front of you, but essentially very simple, straightforward refunding. We're just looking to essentially refund the 2013 B bonds that the city has outstanding. We haven't changed the structure at all. We're really just looking to save on the interest. So we've mirrored the structure of the existing bonds, not accelerating those payments whatsoever. And ultimately, the bonds will remain secured by the general obligation and pledge of the city, the special assessments that went along with the original issue, and then the utility funds that, again, supported that original issue. The call date here would be out February 1 of 2029. So at that time, you could certainly refund them again if interest rates stay low. Probably aren't going to stay this low for that long. Or if you have additional cash, you can certainly call them in at that point. You can call them in full or in part. We did not seek out a rating for this issue, just to kind of get it done as fast as we could. So again, we've got a savings here of 188.48. And the net present value savings is 8.278. Usually when we're looking at whether or not to move forward with refunding, you want to see at least a 3% savings. So seeing that over 8% is a nice healthy savings there. On the following pages, you'll see the final numbers that go along with the issue. So the 13B bonds supported two separate projects that were related to improvements. So there were likely some utility improvements that went along with that street project. At the top, you'll see the sources and uses of the funds. So you'll see there was a little bit of reoffering premium that came along with the bonds. And what that means is that investors are looking for a little bit of a higher interest rate, and they're willing to give you some cash up front to do that. And then you'll also see this transfer from prior issued debt service fund. So what that means, you've got $26,768.75. So on the 13B bonds, you are scheduled to have an 8/1 of 21 interest payment, which is your typical schedule. Now, because these bonds, the 2021A, are proposed to close at the end of July on the 28th, we actually have you making that payment that you would have made on Friday, July 30th to make the August 1st payment. You're going to make that on the 28th along with closing. So it's just a replacement of that interest payment. Other than that, where you want to pay attention here is the pricing summary in the middle. So you'll see the coupon here, the third column from the left, shows the stated rate on the bonds, but the yield is where you want to pay particular attention, because once we factor in that cash from the premium, the yield is what you're actually paying on the bonds. So that's why when we started out with a little bit of a higher amount when we were originally looking at this bond issue, that premium drove the par amount down to 1.72 million. And then you've got the debt service comparison on the following page. And what this essentially boils down to is that on average, On average, you'll be saving $9,402.40 per year. The savings are a little bit heavier in the early years, and that's because the improvement portion of the bond sort of rolls off. The utility portion was financed over a longer term. And again, that was related to that original structure of the 13B. But that's the reason for those differences in payments. It's just that the improvement portion was financed over a shorter period of time. And then you've got the combined debt service schedule on the following page. So not a whole lot to see there. Again, just taking that existing structure and providing a lower interest rate. And then you've got the two schedules broken out for the improvement portion, and you'll get an entire transcript for the proposal with this. So. And then on the last pages, all you're going to see here is just some graphs to give you a snapshot of what's been occurring over the last 5 years in terms of how interest rates have been behaving. And then on the following page, just a longer term snapshot going back 20 years or so. So you can see just how truly low interest rate environment we are currently in. So certainly a good time to undertake refundings if you have them. But that being said, do want council to understand that we did come away with savings that was a bit lower than what we had anticipated, but them's the breaks. So it's not uncommon to see a swing of 5 to 10 basis points on any given day in the market. And unfortunately, like I said, there were some competitive sales that happened this morning and also yesterday that had a higher rating than these bonds. So that scale moved on this one just because it's a non-rated issue. But overall, like I said, very healthy savings being over that 8% and still 188,000 for this. So with that, I am happy to take any questions that the council may have. Otherwise, you do have a resolution before you providing for the issuance and sale of the Series 2021 A bonds.
Okay, then we have ordinance and resolutions, if any, can all be done in one motion. 2021-18A. Reference related to Para General Original Refund Bond Series 2021A.
Because I'm probably not as smart as anybody else. Why does the principal go up in this utility portion?
Yeah, because on the original bond issue, so let me just get to the final numbers here.
What page are you on, Julie?
7. That utility portion. I just, it goes up from 65 to 70,000 on the principal, then 75.
Yep. So it's a matter of trying to, so bonds are issued in $5,000 denominations. And as you can see, because of the ascending scale in terms of the interest rate, you're going to pay less and less in interest over time. So that means that the principal amount is going to grow so that your total principal and interest on average is going to stay pretty level. So you'll see that P&I payment move around a bit, but again, because you're dealing with those $5,000 denominations, it just means you kind of have to mess with the schedule until you get a really close or close enough level principal and interest schedule. But yeah, what you're seeing there is because that interest is reducing over time, the principal ends up moving up over time. Much like a mortgage payment, et cetera, where your interest kind of just declines over the life of the loan.
That's just kind of foreign to me, so I'm.
Yep, some of it's kind of over my head too. It's a lot of big numbers, but it looks like it's, or go ahead.
No, you finish.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, it looks to me like it's, so this is set out 20 years exactly from now. Is the length of this?
Go ahead.
So the final maturity is out in 2041.
Okay, yep, okay, sounds
And
good.
that's exactly what the 20 13B was.
Yes.
So
Okay.
they pretty much mimicked that, you know,
This is
exactly
what
what
we
we
had.
had
This is
in the
pretty much-
previous bond.
Yep.
But because we can save on interest,
Yep,
we were trying to refund it
Yep.
so that we save that 188,000.
right, yep. So to like today, we're kind of here to adopt this or to,
Yep, so in order to move forward with it, then we would have to pass the resolution.
Yep.
And then we can be done.
right, yep. No, it all looks like, I mean, from what I'm seeing, and you know a lot more about this than I'll ever understand about it, but it certainly looks like everything's going the right direction. So, is Lydell, is he on? Does he have any questions about it?
Lydell, are you there?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm hearing most of it, but I'm just gonna abstain from the vote as, you know, unless it becomes a tie or something, because I'm not hearing everything. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. So Madonna, do you want us, if everybody's good with it, I can make the motion to move forward with it. And I don't know how to word it or whatever, but I'll just to readopt the new,
You're just gonna make a motion to adopt resolution 2021-18,
Okay.
a resolution relating to the PAR stands for this $1,720,000 in a general obligation refunding bond series 2021A.
2021. So yeah, but I will do that exactly how she said
Have a motion
that.
and a second.
I can second it.
Have a second, motion and a second. Everybody in favor?
I,
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
So then you can take a motion to adjourn.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
In a second. All in favor?
Aye.